study 13 visual contact. What do you need to do? Look at those to whom you are speaking, allowing your eyes to meet for a few seconds if that is acceptable locally. See individuals, not merely a group. Why is it important? In many cultures, eye contact is viewed as an indication of interest in the person being addressed. It is also viewed as evidence that you speak with conviction. Our eyes communicate attitudes and emotions. They may indicate surprise or fear. They may convey compassion or love. At times, they may betray doubt or give evidence of grief. Concerning his countrymen, who had suffered much, an elderly man said, "We speak with our eyes." Others may draw conclusions about us and about what we say on the basis of where we focus our eyes. In many cultures, people tend to trust an individual who maintains friendly eye contact with them. Conversely, they may doubt the sincerity or competence of a person who looks at his feet or at some object rather than at the one to whom he is talking. Some other cultures view any intensive eye contact as rude, aggressive, or challenging. This is especially the case when speaking with members of the opposite sex or to a chief or other titled person. And in some areas, if a younger person were to make direct eye contact when speaking to an older person, this would be viewed as disrespectful. However, where it is not offensive, looking an individual in the eye when making an important statement can add emphasis to what is said. It may be viewed as evidence of conviction on the part of the speaker. Notice how Jesus responded when his disciples expressed great surprise and said, "Who really can be saved?" The Bible reports, looking them in the face, Jesus said to them, "With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." Matthew 19:25-26. The scriptures also show that the Apostle Paul keenly observed the reactions of those in his audience. On one occasion a man lame from birth was present when Paul spoke. Acts 14:9-10 states, "This man was listening to Paul speak, who, on looking at him intently and seeing he had faith to be made well, said with a loud voice, 'Stand up erect on your feet.'" Suggestions for the field ministry. When you share in the field ministry, be friendly and warm as you approach people. Where appropriate, use thought-provoking questions to start a conversation on something that may be of mutual interest. As you do this, endeavor to establish eye contact or at least to look the person in the face in a respectful and kindly way. A warm smile on the face of one whose eyes convey inner joy is very appealing. Such an expression may tell the individual much about what sort of person you are and help him to feel more relaxed as you converse. Observing the expression in the person's eyes, where appropriate, may give you indications as to how to deal with a situation. If the person is angry or if he is really not interested, you may be able to see it. If he does not understand you, you may realize that. If he is getting impatient, you will usually be able to tell. If he is keenly interested, this too will be evident. The expression in his eyes may alert you to the need to adjust your pace, to make added effort to involve him in the conversation, to terminate the discussion or, possibly, to follow through with a demonstration of how to study the Bible. Whether you are engaging in public witnessing or conducting a home Bible study, endeavor to maintain respectful eye contact with the one with whom you are speaking. Do not stare at him, however, as that can be embarrassing. 2 Kings 8:11, but in a natural, friendly manner, frequently look the other person in the face. In many lands, this conveys a feeling of sincere interest. Of course, when you are reading from the Bible or some other publication, your eyes will be focused on the printed page. But to emphasize a point, you may want to look directly at the person, though doing so briefly. If you look up at intervals, this will also enable you to observe his reaction to what is being read. If shyness makes visual contact difficult for you at first, do not give up. With practice, Appropriate visual contact will become natural, and it may add to your effectiveness in communicating with others. When giving a discourse, the Bible tells us that before Jesus began his Sermon on the Mount, he lifted up his eyes upon his disciples. Luke 6:20, learn from his example. If you are going to speak before a group, face them and then pause a few seconds before you start to talk. In many places this will include making eye contact with some in the audience. This brief delay may help you to overcome your initial nervousness. It will also help the audience to adjust themselves to whatever attitude or emotion your face reveals. Additionally, your doing this will permit the audience to settle down and be ready to give you their attention. During your talk, look at the audience. Do not merely look at the group as a whole. Endeavor to look at individuals in it. In almost every culture, some degree of eye contact is expected on the part of a public speaker. Looking at your audience means more than simply making a rhythmic eye movement from one side to the other. Make respectful visual contact with someone in the audience, and if appropriate, say a full sentence to that individual. Then look at another, and say a sentence or two to that person. Do not look at anyone so long that he becomes uncomfortable, and do not concentrate on only a few people in the entire audience. Continue to move your eyes through the audience in this way, but as you speak to a person, really talk to that one and notice his reaction before you pass on to another. Your notes should be on the speaker's stand, in your hand, or in your Bible so that you can glance at these with only an eye movement. If it is necessary to move your entire head to see your notes, audience contact will suffer. Consideration should be given both to how often you look at your notes and to when you do so. If you are looking at your notes while you are reaching a climax in the talk, not only will you fail to see your audience's reaction but your delivery will lose some of its force. Likewise, if you are constantly consulting your notes, you will lose audience contact. When you throw a ball to someone, you look to see if it is caught. Each thought in your talk is a separate throw to the audience. A catch may be indicated by their response: a nod, a smile, an attentive look. If you maintain good visual contact, this can help you to make sure that your ideas are being caught. If you are assigned to read to the congregation, should you try to look at the audience during the reading? If the audience is following your reading in the Bible, most of them will not be aware of whether you look up or not. But looking at your audience can help to invigorate your reading because it will keep you keenly aware of their reaction. And for any in the audience who are not using their Bibles and whose minds may be wandering, visual contact with the speaker may help bring their attention back to what is being read. Of course, you will only be able to look up briefly, and it should not be done in a manner that causes you to stumble in your reading. To that end, it is best to hold your Bible on your hand and to keep your head up, not with the chin dropped toward the chest. At times, elders are called on to deliver a convention discourse from a manuscript. Doing this effectively requires experience, careful preparation, and much practice. Of course, use of a manuscript limits visual contact with the audience. But if the speaker has prepared well, he should be able to look at his audience from time to time without losing his place. His doing so will help hold the attention of the audience and enable them to benefit fully from the important spiritual instruction being presented. Points to keep in mind. Be natural and friendly, genuinely interested in those to whom you speak. When reading, hold the reading material in your hand and keep your chin up so that you need to move only your eyes, not your head. Exercise. In everyday conversation with family and friends, endeavor to increase your eye contact with others, doing so in ways that will not offend local custom.